Nuria, right now, one of the greatest political purges are taking place in Pakistan right now. Pakistan is supposed to be a democracy. I'm quote unquote supposed to be a democracy, but it is not behaving like one. And we've always said that Pakistan is a proto-democracy. We all know what happened to Imran Khan. Imran Khan was also a stooge of the army. It's like an army and parliament nexus, and they pretend to be a democracy, but they're not. That's not how democracies work. Pakistan's powerful military call the shots. They are the ones who run the country. They form the foreign policy. They decide what kind of relationships they're going to have with India or America. The prime minister basically I'm not going to say he's absolutely a puppet. They do formulate their own economic policy, etc. But on major issues, they can't form their, let's just say, foreign policy independently. And I think one of the biggest undoings of Pakistan is the fact that Pakistan has not been able to develop good relationships with its neighbors, especially India. Pakistan military's existence depends on this confrontational stance with India, that, hey, India can't be trusted, and India is out there. They have never accepted Pakistan's existence, and they're going to invade us, and they're going to disintegrate Pakistan. Therefore, you need us, i.e. the Pakistan military. That has been the standard narrative for 77 or 76 years of Pakistan's existence as we know it. But now we know Imran Khan is the most popular leader in Pakistan, and even his followers are in direct confrontational path with the Pakistani military. And we saw this footage. And if you want to know more about it, do check out my mini biography that I did on Imran Khan a week ago. So Imran Khan was forced out of his government under a parliamentarian process of no confidence motion. And he was kicked out initially. Now, this is interesting. Imran Khan accused the United States government of directing Pakistan military to oust him through this no confidence motion. So Imran Khan heavily benefited from this anti-American, anti-West sentiment in Pakistan. And he said, America is doing this. America ousted me in cahoots with the Pakistani military and the current political parties, Nawaz Sharif's party, PMLN, and late Benazir Bhutto's party, Pakistan People's Party. So he blamed them. There's been an assassination attempt on him. Imran Khan says the military was behind it. However, the military says that it wasn't the military. It was some lone religious nut job who wasn't happy with Imran Khan's constant signaling of Islam, even though he doesn't behave like a Muslim himself. We don't know what happened, but let's just go with that. But since then, the military has been cracking down on Imran Khan's political party. 2 weeks ago, they arrested him. And Imran Khan's loyal supporters came out in huge numbers and they attacked military installations. The military headquarters in Rawalpindi, Corps Commander House in Lahore. They burnt some places down. But that gave a perfect excuse to the Pakistani military that, aha, you guys are terrorists. As a result, they arrested nearly 10,000 Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Imran Khan's party's political workers, and also they've been arresting former parliamentarians, Shireen Mazari, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Fawad Chaudhry, Asad Umar, so many, literally hundreds. Top leadership has been arrested. And they come out and they say, no, we're not leaving Imran Khan. They go to jail again. They come out, they say, no, we're not really leaving Imran Khan. They go to jail again. But obviously and the military knows that they're going to break at some point. So they have now started leaving Imran Khan. Under the threat of their lives, they are leaving it. We have received reports that these former ministers, parliamentarians are saying that, oh, look, they are threatening us, that we will arrest your daughters, we will arrest your sons, etc. And we know what happens. They go to jail and then all kind of terrible things happen. This is the only difference between Stalin's purges and this purge is they're literally not shooting them in the head. That's it. That's the only difference. So Dr. Shireen Mazari has just said that, okay, I'm leaving. Fayazul Jahan said leaving. And there's so many others who have left Imran Khan because they are being intimidated and they're being forced that, okay, this is what we're going to do if you don't leave him. So he's being left alone. Now, let me the reason why people like me can't feel sorry for Imran Khan, although this is an absolute shame that something like this can happen in 2023 and the whole world is watching. So 2 weeks ago, when they started arresting after they released Imran Khan in the wake of all these attacks on military installations, this came out of the US State Department.
We continue to monitor the situation in Pakistan closely, and as the U.S. has said before, we don't have a position on one candidate or one political party versus another. What our interest is a safe and secure, prosperous Pakistan, and we call for the respect of democratic principles and the rule of law around the world. But on some of these areas, such as press freedom, human rights, things of that nature, we have consistently raised these issues with our counterparts, not just in Pakistan, but in other countries where we have a perspective to offer on that.
The government of Pakistan also shutting down social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and others, and there are some strict restrictions on Pakistani media channels, like what to show and what not. When State Department officials engage with the Pakistani authorities, is this subject as a part of discussion, media freedom?
Well, this is something that the Secretary has emphasized pretty clearly before. He has been clear that access to information and diverse ideas make for a more prosperous and democratic societies. And access to internet connection, for example, it connects the public to information they need to advocate for themselves, to communicate with one another, to make informed decisions, to hold government officials accountable, and to exercise their freedom of expression.
But there's one more video I want to play to you, because in the past, Imran Khan has always cussed out and criticized the West, in particular America, that, hey, you meddle in other countries' internal affairs. Well, look what Imran Khan is now begging the West to do on his behalf. This is one of the leaked conversations of Imran Khan with US Congresswoman Maxine Moore Waters.
Probably one of the most critical times in our history. We have one of the most bizarre situations going on in this country. There was not the one assassination attempt. I received 3 bullets in my leg, which were meant for the top body. You see, my government was removed by the ex-army chief, because the military establishment is very powerful here. So he conspired with the people who are in power right now. And, a lot of the army is powerful, the secret agencies, so they're toppled by government. It was the best economic performance of a government in the last 17 years. So now the situation is, why is my life in danger? Because what has happened is that the military establishment, along with the current lot who are in power right now. But the second thing what is done, and which is why really, Maxine, it would be very helpful, a statement, and if you could verify what I'm saying by yourself. We have the worst crackdown in our history. No democratic party has ever had such violation of the fundamental rights. What we want is from you, simply find out by yourself, but this will be, you can find out that what is going on is unprecedented. So we would appreciate here, because it makes a lot of, it goes a long way when someone like you, Maxine, when you give a statement. And all we want is the rule of law, the Constitution. I just want a statement highlighting what is happening. And that would really help us. When Maxine, someone like you speaks out, it makes a lot of waves in our country. Thank you.
So he's now begging the same America that he has criticized in the past, that, hey, you meddle in other countries' internal affairs. Now he's asking them to, hey, help us out. Issue a statement in our support, which is, again, in our worldview, this is fine. As the United States being the leader of the free world, they should always issue a statement when human rights are being violated, when democratic principles are not being followed. This is our original position. So we say that this is how it should happen. But people like Imran Khan, and again, he lied there. He said, oh, it's never happened. It's unprecedented. No, it's not. It has always happened. It's happened to Pakistan's People's Party. And mind you, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was hanged by a military dictator. Nawaz Sharif was ousted by a military dictator. Nawaz Sharif was jailed. His political party members were jailed, tortured for many years, such as Rana Sanaullah, etc. So this has happened, but people like Imran Khan sat back and they never said anything. And whenever the United States said, "Hey, what's going on in your country?" he said, "Oh, look, this proves that these guys are American stooges because the United States is speaking for the human rights of these people, Nawaz Sharif's and Zardari's parties, etc." But now he's begging the same people. This is a reason why it's very difficult to empathize with Imran Khan. As I said, even though we have always said the Pakistani military has always done it, but that's the condition. This is why it's so difficult now. And his followers are even worse. Now they're again shaming Malala for not issuing a statement in their support. The same Malala that they have wasted no opportunity to cuss her out, call her a US stooge, Israeli stooge, blah, 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 every other insult that they can throw at a person to damage their credibility. They've done it. And now they're begging the same people to help us out. Again, our official position is this should not happen. But the reason why we're not going to cry over it, because Imran Khan has done it himself. Maybe not himself, but he has kept quiet when it happened to his political opponents. And guess what? The other political parties to whom that had happened before at the hands of the military, now they are becoming silent spectators, and they're saying, "Well, your supporters did attack military installations." It's very similar to what Trump did in January when he said march towards the Capitol building, and when they turned up there and obviously it turned ugly. This is exactly what Imran Khan did, or his parliamentarians did. They said march to the army's headquarters, march to Army Corps Commander House in Lahore, and when they got there, it got out of hand. They barged in. We played you those videos before. So how do you see this, Nuria? As Democrats, as people who believe in democracy and free speech, obviously this is wrong according to our worldview. But how do you feel about Imran Khan for doing this 180-degree turn? This is exactly what Voltaire. This is why Voltaire said that I don't like what you say, but I would defend your right to say it. Yeah, exactly. So that's how it works, Mr. Imran Khan. You don't only remember your human rights when your human rights are being abused. You should speak up when other people's human rights are being abused as well. But he never did it. This is why it's so difficult for me to empathize with him, even though when I'm seeing these press conferences of people like Shireen Mazari and other people who come out and it's clearly you've tortured them or you have threatened them. The people who were only up until a week ago were so passionate in defending democracy in Pakistan, but now they're just totally broken because you've arrested their children. You have taken them to these cold jail cells and you have kept them awake all night by playing loud music, etc. So Nuria, how do you see this? Are we doing anything wrong here? I am speaking up, but I'm not speaking up with the same passion that I would have spoken up had Imran Khan also stood with these principles.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I feel like this is one of Imran Khan's, let's say, last-ditch attempts. The fact that he's going to an American congresswoman or American lawmaker to get a statement. Obviously, a lot of people have push this narrative on social media that he's gone begging to the states. Some people have added the word, I beg you for a statement, which really, to be honest, even his last statement to the public seemed like he was a lot more, what's the word? He's a lot more kind of defeated and subdued. Yeah, than he even sounded in that clip to the US Congresswoman. But I do think, again, it really shines a light on the way he has been and conducted himself in politics, especially while he was in power. Having the audacity to say that America was part of a conspiracy to oust him, and then to, in a last-ditch attempt, almost reach out to that very same country and say, please recognize what's happening here, because now you know that you need them, because at the end of the day, they need to be concerned where rule of law is not being upheld. And, the constitution is not being upheld, and it's basically Pakistan is before our eyes turning into pretty much a fascist state. We always knew that the hierarchy of power in Pakistan was such that the military always reigned top, and they are the top dog. And the fact that Imran Khan has gone against them, like, you can just see the extent to the power that they hold vis-a-vis what any former prime minister or any even prime minister in office holds compared to them. So yeah, what we're seeing is, honestly, it's disgusting from a human rights perspective. Arresting politicians, we don't know what's happening behind behind bars or behind closed doors.
We have a pretty good idea.
Exactly. And also, like, whether it's the military themselves and how much power they exert, or whether it's Pakistani police following orders, Pakistani police have such a bad human rights record when it comes to police brutality and torture and things like that. So these are already issues that the UN have called us up on, and say that we should be barred from the Human Rights Council,
including during Imran Khan's government.
Yeah, exactly.
Human rights records we've spoken about at length, and then one of the ministers, Human Rights Minister Dr. Shiri Mazari, who just left Imran Khan's political party under threat because she was arrested 4 times, even though the court said that release him. But that was happening during Imran Khan's time as well. This is why it's troubling. Like it's like a boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, precisely. And not just that, but what you were talking about as well. For example, when these opposition parties were getting jailed left, right, and center, when the shoe was on the other foot, Imran Khan was very much cheering from the sidelines, and he was very much okay with it happening. But you just see what he plays to certain cards, which he kind of uses to, I think it's just part of his populist narrative. He's really good at riling up the masses. So he'll throw in the Islamophobia card. I mean, the speech that he gave about, our society at the very least, like, you're doing this to women. How dare they do this to our women? And like, every one of you should come out and speak against it. Now that's going to tug at anyone's heart. That tugs at my heart as a feminist. I'd be like, yeah, I completely get you. But where were you? Where were you when the same thing was happening to women of the PPP or the PMLN or any other party?
March.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Where were you when that woman got raped on the highway or motorway? Sorry, by like gang raped when she had her children with her, and in that, just to set the record straight, he did condemn it, but that's the time when that statement came out that men are not robots. Exactly. So there's one thing with condemning it, but he's pandering to the narrative that most Pakistanis held about why was she driving alone? Why was she out at that time at night? Where was her husband? Why did she have to stop for whatever she stopped for? And he did not condemn that narrative whatsoever. So from a genuinely honest human rights perspective, of course we need to call out what's happening in Pakistan. But yeah, it's very, very disheartening to know that he only does it when it suits him. So he is very, very good at pandering to the kind of emotions and like the need of the hour for whatever would rile people up to do what he wants.
Only when it's hurting him.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why people like you and I, who were both massive supporters of Imran Khan, let's just be fair, for a very long, I was a youth here since 1996. I was 13 years old until 2020. That's when I just said, whoa, I cannot defend this guy anymore. Just a little example. We sent 20 emails to Dr. Shiri Mazari, who was then Human Rights Minister of Pakistan. I sent 20 emails detailing this is what's happened to Hindu girls in Sindh, although it was not her political party was not in power in that province. But do something. But you're in the federal government, do something. Didn't do anything. Also, similar things happened to a lesser extent in Punjab as well to Christian girls. Nothing. So if you're going to say, well, this is how the society works, we can't really do much, well, then it means you were benefiting from this position of power. But if you can't do anything, then, well, sorry, now we can say the same thing. Well, this is how Pakistan works, When they don't like you, they beat you up. Sorry. So that's the reason why it's so difficult. And Imran Khan, I think, just released a statement or tweet a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday. He said that where are the human rights organizations of Pakistan? Well, we do agree, we do acknowledge, I'm sure all of them acknowledge that what's happening to you is wrong. But the reason why we can't feel anything for you is because you also benefited from it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it also is a case of like the chickens coming home to roost, because like this is very much exactly what you were saying. Like they would always throw things like, this is our society and this is how society here works, and we've got to take a different approach, and it can't be as progressive or secular or democratic, you know. But what's happening now is like, sure, if you want to play that narrative, then you are going to have to kind of be consistent to some extent. But again, this is the problem with Pakistan. Like, for example, even Shireen Mazari as the human rights minister, like we covered it back in the day in Sunday Scoop, right? But when she's advocating for like the public hangings or public executions of people, it kind of it makes it a bit hard to take people like her seriously. But when I see that, you know, the way she's being arrested and manhandled and things like that now, obviously riles up my emotions, and I want to speak out against it. So for sure, I think obviously two rights don't make a wrong, and we should call a spade whenever it is happening. But just 2 points on Pakistan as well, because I don't think I'll get to talk about it separately, and I've not really been tweeting about it, and I'm not following it so much. So it's a very superficial kind of understanding of what's happening. But I think this could be a very, very pivotal moment in, like, you know, the history of Pakistan and how the tides are turning, because Imran Khan has never been so popular before as he is now. And I mean, with even just what's happening and the way that these political leaders at some of the higher levels are kind of defecting from the PTI, and they're scrambling for power, and they're being threatened or provoked or blackmailed, whatever, behind the scenes. All of that is going on. So rule of law has completely disintegrated in Pakistan. And it's basically a battle of, you know, the military versus the general public, I guess, and the people who think that they are standing for democracy, which to be fair, according to the rule of law, that, you know, Imran Khan he is right to reach out to America to say that the rule of law is not being respected. Having said that, Pakistan, as we know, as a nation, was created almost like as a security state nation, and the army was such a pivotal part that we kind of never really got over how much importance we had to give to them and how much they were required for the forming of Pakistan. I think this is like a hang-up that we've always had. They've never been able to kind of rectify and subdue their power into a more of a democratic framework. So you've always had these hierarchies that plays. But what's interesting now is that because Imran Khan is so popular, I wonder what their next move is going to be, because given the Pakistani state, like you're saying, they've hung prime ministers in the past, they've assassinated prime ministers in the past. I think doing something like that to Imran Khan could genuinely, now I actually got worried, because people are talking about the fact that Pakistan could split. It could split into 3 provinces. It could be outright civil war. So would the army or military be as silly as to do something like that? Or no, they could arrest him and pacify him for a while. But a lot of people, I
think it's going to be latter. It's going to be the latter, what you said.
Okay. Yeah, possibly. I mean, that seems like the more sensible, if there's any sensibilities left in what's happening. But that seems like the most sensible approach. But also, some people who, you know, claim to have intelligence from inside Pakistan are saying that what they think is going to happen is that they're going to prompt someone like, let's say, Bilawal or somebody from the PPP, like senior leadership up, and then. Because basically, if you think about the Pakistani People Party as opposed to the PTI, where Imran Khan, I think, really kind of went wrong was he got a little bit too gassed up about this whole Islam thing and Islamophobia and being the leader of the Muslim Ummah. So that's kind of backfired, because the army is like, hey, even we're not like this into it as you are. So where in the PPP they have a party who's also willing to accept the army for the power that they have. They're also willing to subdue the the Islamic mullahs and the imams and stuff of Pakistan, and they're also willing to engage with America. So that's like the perfect foundation for the military to deal with. And I think then if the push comes towards understanding that Pakistan's constitution is genuinely it's untenable the way it stands. So the fact that if there's going to be an entire overhaul of that, and Imran Khan I'm talking about in the grand scheme of Pakistani history, if Imran Khan needed to be the catalyst to at some level get our constitution changed, then not even metaphorical, my literal hat off to him for that, because that's like a knock-on effect of what's happening. But I think the end goal, if the constitution is changed, that's like a win. But yeah, currently it's chaos.
But even that's not going to happen, Nuria. That is one
One can
element of
hope.
what you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what that's one element of you said, and you rightfully said that is untenable. Pakistan's 75 years of existence was untenable, and this is why we're seeing what we're seeing. You play with Islam, but not entirely, just a little bit wherever it suits you. Military generals drink alcohol, eat pork, and travel the world, and they're corrupt as they get. But then also they use Islamist powers like TLP and even some other religious parties to, and obviously they've used them to do jihad in India. It was untenable. And even now what you're saying, if they create something else out of that and still not drop Islamic and Muslim entirely, even that's going to be untenable as well, because then they always say, what's the point of creating Pakistan if you were going to create a secular Pakistan? Because India was going to be secular. What was the point of it? So it is, the more I look into it, the more I realize why it has always been seen as a failed state. I know it hurts a lot of Pakistanis. I'm sorry, but it was always bound to fail. One last point, what you said just before, that Imran Khan is right to reach out to Human Rights Department. But again, one of the biggest reasons of why Pakistanis are so anti-American is because they think that, hey, you have this interventionist policy. But now you're begging America to intervene. You see that? Now, this is what I've always said, like all these countries, when they want to run amok, they say, America, stay out of it. And guess what? China is supposed to be Pakistan's best friend, and as Pakistanis believe that. China is saying nothing because China has a non-interventionist policy. China doesn't really intervene in internal affairs. And look, they're not intervening. They're not saying, hey, do this, do that. They don't. And this is the reason why Imran Khan is begging a U.S. Congresswoman. The U.S. State Department yesterday again highlighted that we are closely monitoring, but again, we can't pick a favorite political party because that's up to the people of Pakistan to decide who are their true representatives.
I was just going to say that it's funny because if now that their leader Imran Khan has turned to America, who he's poised himself against America, and like you said, their interventionist policies and their foreign policy and everything, he's always stood against it, and he's almost freeing yourselves from America is akin to freeing yourselves from mental the shackles of slavery, according to what happened in Afghanistan. So imagine right now if Imran Khan is so popular and these people have a cult-like following for him in Pakistan, then technically right now, if their leader has reached out to America, the majority of Pakistanis would be in favor of America speaking out in favor of Imran Khan. But it's just the sheer hypocrisy of a population and a nation like this is, I struggle to see how you're going to,
They've been conditioned this way, Nuria.
Yeah.
They have been conditioned this way. Every country that you look at, they always blame someone else for their own shortcomings. Every third world country you look at, we're this because India did this to us. Oh, we're like this because America did this to us. As I said earlier in this video, that the Balochistan province, Sindhi province, and a big portion of KPK province, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmiris, all of these people don't like Pakistan Army. Only Punjab, which is 60% of Pakistan, liked Pakistan Army, but even they don't like Pakistan Army anymore. Now, the way they're purging the biggest political party in Pakistan, they're going to hate the Pakistan Army even more. And I've been watching Pakistani television. Pakistan Army are spending millions of rupees in their goodwill advertisement, like, we are the defenders of Pakistan, like proper military. You think that you're in North Korea or something where
God, it's so bad, Horace. When you go onto YouTube to try and find information, I click on the mainstream news and it's like military parades and like the anthem and like showing all these soldiers that have given their lives to Pakistan.
Yes.
And I'm like, when is this I'm genuinely waiting for it to finish to get like the news bulletin, and it goes on and on and on. It's wild.
Because they know, Nuria, because they know that Pakistani public have never hated Pakistan Army like this before. And they think that this will fizzle out. And I don't think it's going to fizzle out unless they shake hands with Imran Khan, which I think it's not going to happen because Imran Khan is anti-army now, or at least in their minds, they're not going to let him come to power. But he's the people's choice. 60, 70% of Pakistanis want him to be the prime minister. So I don't know how that's going to end well for Pakistan, because the Pakistani military is not going to relent. Imran Khan is not going to relent. As you said, if they kill him now, that's game over.
He'll be a martyr, yeah.
If they subdue him, because he is 72 years old. Let's just remember that. If they subdue him, keep him busy in these corruption cases or whatever for the next 4 or 5 years, who knows? You have within 4 or 5 years, you can recondition people's minds. Something else can happen. They can blame India for that, and then all of a sudden people would start liking India. They might do some false flag operations somewhere that, hey, look, India attacked us and we repelled them back. See, you need us. We're the guys. So a lot can happen. But at this point, I don't know how it's going to end well for Pakistan.
Well, what also is a real issue that it's hardly it's so telling that there's something severely wrong in Pakistan, because the way that the military are using this being able to disconnect people from the internet and social media and blackouts at particular times. I mean, it genuinely, like, I also do worry for Imran Khan's life when he puts out tweets like, they've disconnected my last way to contact the world or to tweet or to do whatever, and my house has been barricaded and this is happening. It seems like it's very, it's like imminent that something is about to happen to him from the language and the rhetoric that he's using. But also, at the same time, just to follow up on your point, the last thing I heard him say today was he's going to try and form a committee tomorrow. And that committee, basically, the military, he's gone now completely tete-a-tete with the military. And he's like, okay, I will step away from politics. I will be done with this whole shebang, this whole game. If in this, I'll get a committee tomorrow. And then you, as the military establishment, can just confirm 2 points to me. Prove it to me that Pakistan as a country as a whole would be better off without Imran Khan, number one. And number two, prove to me the purpose and benefits of holding elections in October. And I think this is his final now last-ditch attempt, because America's not really bothered. They're like, yes, we're watching the situation. They're just, they're being less interventionist than Imran Khan thinks they are.
But they can't intervene in the elections anyway. They can't.
Exactly.
They can only issue a statement that, hey, look, we're concerned about the human rights abuses. That's all they can do, and that's all they've always done in the past. Yeah. But Pakistan has always overplayed their part. So yeah, I think we will keep you posted. Next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting. If you like my video and would like to support my channel, then you can be my patron by going to patreon.com/xmuslim, or you can simply buy me a coffee.